Hey there, welcome back to the Wicked Title Folks, the podcast where we make sense of title insurance without putting you to sleep or burying you in citations. I'm Cheryl, your closing chaos navigator and escrow account bodyguard. And today we are talking about a lender payoff nightmare that has title agents everywhere asking, wait, are we supposed to second guess payoff statements now? Short answer, apparently, yes. So let's talk about Gina Coran from Stewart Abstract of Berks County. Gina's been in business since 1988, which means she has seen a lot. And yet, this one was new even for her. And I have to admit, it was new for me too. So here's the deal. Her office got a payoff statement for a June 16th closing that didn't even show up until June 26th. The statement said it was good through June 30th. Being a pro, Gina verified the instructions through CertifID, overnighted a check, and it got signed for on, you guessed it, June 30th. It was a weekend. The math checks out, right? Payoff arrives on the 26th, checks in their hands by the 30th, still within the good through date, except not. On the same day the check was delivered, the lender decided to issue a brand new payoff. New date, extra fees, and 2 days later, they mailed the check back and demanded an extra $3,000. Let that sink in. Same date, same window, but apparently good through now means good through unless we change our minds. Which had Gina asking the obvious question, are we now responsible for second guessing every payoff we receive? And based on what I've heard from folks like Thomas Cronkite at Sun Title in Michigan and Amy Elliott at Abstract and Title in Indiana, the answer is yeah, probably. And this is where I'd love to tell you estoppel has your back. You know, the fancy legal word for we said it, you relied on it, and now it's binding. But nope. As Raleigh Simmons from River Title and Escrow quipped, maybe it should be called a suggestion letter instead. And here's why it matters. Amy Elliott really said it perfectly. It's often not the title company's mistake, yet everyone in the transaction looks to us to fund the loss. When the lender decides to change the payoff after you've funded, it's you they're looking at for a fix, even if it comes out of your pocket. Thomas's workaround was to shave a few days off the good through date. Smart move, but let's be honest. Why should just make up a different deadline become an official best practice? But until lenders develop a conscience or state laws catch up, here are some strategies floating around the industry to deal with this problem. First, you can do what Thomas does and build in a buffer, pretend the good through date is lying to you. You should definitely double check and confirm your payoff when you're getting close to the deadline. And Nancy at Brickhouse Consulting said, especially if you're dealing with a foreclosure, those attorneys love to tack on fees at the last minute. You should send wires when you can. It gets it there faster, and checks can sit, but wires move. Always verify your wire instructions with a fraud prevention tool like Closing Lock before sending. Make sure that you read the fine print. Gina found the out clause that was buried in the payoff on page 4. Sneaky. And Amy's team makes use of indemnity agreements. They've added language to their closing docs to protect against shortfalls. When I owned a title agency, I included language like that too. For my paid members, make sure you scroll to the end of the article that comes with this episode and snag a copy of the language that I use to get you started on crafting your own. It's not a perfect solution, but it is better than nothing. And then there's also legislative advocacy. States like Florida and Wisconsin already require lenders to honor payoffs unless they change them by a clear deadline. Florida even makes lenders apply their own shortfall as a principal reduction if they mess up. And next week, I'm going to take a deeper dive into all of this and give you a legislative roundup of the states that have beneficial rules on the books already. But Mary Enzi from Tax Solutions really summed it all up and said that there is a significant burden that falls on all of you. And Gina, bless her, said what we were all thinking. We're in business to provide a valuable service and make money doing it, but we can't be left holding the bag for everyone else's mistakes. So, yeah, if your state doesn't have legislation that protects you yet, talk to your state land title association, call your underwriter, and call your representatives. And for the love of escrow, let's stop normalizing lenders changing the rules after we've already played the game. Well, that's it for today's episode of Wicked Title Folk. I'm Cheryl, your voice of reason in a wicked world. If this episode made you nod, laugh, or want to throw a payoff statement out the window, then send it to a fellow title pro. And if you're not already part of Wicked Title Forum Live, the title think tank, then come and join us for conversations just like this one. It's our monthly mastermind where we swap stories, vent safely, and occasionally solve the unsolvable. Our next call is next week, August 21st at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, and I hope to see you there. Until next time, stay wicked, stay sharp, and always read the fine print. I'll see you next episode.